Hey, everybody, and welcome back to another exciting episode of Horror Film Lovers Mainstream Mondays. I'm Jonathan A. Moody. I'm here with John Ward. How you doing, John?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, good. So we did the whole Conjuring universe, like the actual Conjuring universe itself, and we've all reviewed that. And before we get into our rankings slash talking about the short films, probably going to talk about the short films first, and do a ranking of that. Then go into their big main event, which will be the Conjuring universe. But even before all that, John's got something he wants to sort of chat about.
Yeah, I figured that just because Megan is still out there. Megan's making money. It's James Wan, so I thought that I would just do an update on how much money it has made. So the film has it's been out since January 6th, and its budget was 12 million, and it has made 158.7 million dollars.
We have to let everybody know, though, that this is February 6th right now, and that this video will be out, like, I think 3 weeks later. So, 2 or 3 weeks later. So, February 6th is a month after January 6th, 1 month later. So, how much did you
Oh
say?
yeah,
How
I
much did
didn't
you say?
realize that. Let's see. 158.7 million for a film that only cost 12 million.
Wow, it's pretty good considering like they're 20 million to 40 million sometimes. Doesn't even get that, good to start with. So, plus, it'll probably gross a lot more when it gets on DVD and streaming
Oh yeah,
platforms.
yeah. I mean, I plan on buying it so on Blu-ray.
I do too. I'm happy that I'm starting to get a lot of these movies on Blu-ray too, you know. So, I'm excited. But yeah, that's cool. I'm really happy about Megan.
Yeah, I'm glad that it's making that much money, and I pointed this out to people. Like a lot of people like Smile. I didn't like Smile. I thought it was stupid, but
It didn't
I'll
make you
take it.
smile.
It did not. It made me frown, and it did not turn that frown upside down. Um, I just like when horror movies, especially in theaters, make money.
Hmm.
So even if it's Smile, which I didn't like, I'm glad that it made money.
Right.
So it's any horror stuff is good to make money, even if you don't like it. I think because that just
Keep horror
puts more.
alive, baby.
Yeah, it keeps horror in the theater instead of just throwing it on streaming.
It's so funny. I was like thinking about it the other day. So everybody was saying like there's a part where everybody thought that horror was dead. And I'm like looking at Wes Craven's New Nightmare because we had to do it for 90s horror films. And so Wes Craven's New Nightmare came out in 1994, right? Like 10 years after the original Nightmare on Elm Street. Then he made, unfortunately, 1995, Wes Craven made Vampire in Brooklyn, which was a lot of people said was almost the death of horror. Horror got to be too stupid and nobody cared about it or something. And then all of a sudden, 96, it came back. So, like, really, it only took 1 year for horror. Horror only died for a year, pretty much.
So Craven killed it and then brought it back
Pretty much. That's what I think.
with
I think
Scream. Yeah,
yeah. And if you look at Wes Craven's New Nightmare, it's chock full of Scream. Like it
oh, it's
is.
very Scream. I love New Nightmare. I think it's one of the best ones. It's very
Yeah,
meta. Yeah,
me and my friend Vittorio had a blast watching it. Or while like reviewing it. So it's a great movie. Um,
yeah.
so anyway, yeah, so uh horror people like and the thing is horror's never gonna die. No, I mean good horror is always going to be in the theaters in some way or another. Blumhouse is still definitely keeping it around and look at WB, and the Conjuring stuff, people are gonna keep it around. It's just gonna go through phases where they're gonna be trying different things to hook people into the audience. That's what they got to do, you know. Um,
Right.
so I wish they would take more. They would figure out that like Get Out was like the most successful movie that Blumhouse has ever done. You know, why not make movies more like that? You know, I guess it's kind of hard to just, not necessarily like in the tone or whatever, but like just the idea of just a good horror film, like I don't know, like a one that makes you think. And I think a lot of
Well,
that
because probably a lot of people, I mean, he wasn't trying to make a hit. Jordan,
Jordan Peele was
Peele
not.
was, that's if you, if you try to name a killer this cool name and you give him a cool weapon and you're like, oh, he's going to be the next Freddy. He's not going to be the next Freddy.
Not gonna be the next Freddy.
It's the people that, it's the killers, the slashers that nobody was trying to make that way. And that's how they caught on.
Once again, goes back to Scream. I think Scream was such a like, it was similar to Wes Craven's New Nightmare in the sense like a lot of telephone stuff. There was a lot of telephone stuff in that movie, and whatnot. It I don't know. I think they weren't trying necessarily. They were just trying to make a fun slasher, get back to, Wes Craven's roots, and it became a bigger hit than I
Well,
think what they were expecting.
yeah, because remember what Craven said, he was just looking for a job.
Pretty
You
much.
know, he wasn't doing the hits anymore.
Hmm. All right. Well,
So
we're gonna get right into these well, let's talk about the shorts first and stuff. And these are for I guess they're called like My Annabelle Creation. It's the original contest.
yeah, so it's yeah, they're considered short films, and it says just to let people know out there what we're going to be talking about. So in July 2017, Warner Brothers, in conjunction with James Wan, announced the My Annabelle Creation competition as a promotion for the then upcoming film Annabelle Creation. Participants of the competition were to shoot a short film. All of them are roughly 2 minutes, which would feel like it could exist within the established Conjuring world, with the winners, directors having their films made a part of the shared film universe and winning a trip to Los Angeles to meet David F. Sandberg, the director of the film. So I'm guessing that's the director of Annabelle Creation. The entry deadline was July 27th. The 5 separate competition winners being
Oh,
selected
five?
from, yeah, there's 5.
Okay, I saw seven. That was what was on this playlist I had. Like somebody had a playlist of
No,
them, and so which
no,
ones were
all
they?
okay, so I'll list them. So okay, so the winners were from the United States, the United Kingdom, Mexico, Sweden, and Colombia. All 5 short films were released through August through November. So this is 2017.
Okay.
So the first one is, and this is in order of how they came out: The Nurse, The Confession, What's Wrong with Mom, Blund's Lullaby,
Mm-hmm.
and Innocent Souls.
Okay. All right. Okay, I'll talk about two other shorts I saw.
Well, how are the 2 other shorts related to this?
I don't know, but they look like they were. Uh, so the only other ones I saw were there was a one called Anne, you know. Um, actually there's three, I guess. Wait, so there's five, right?
Yeah,
Okay, can you read those again?
The Nurse,
The Nurse,
The Confession,
The Confession.
What's Wrong with Mom,
Okay.
Lund's Lullaby,
Mm-hmm.
and Innocent Souls.
Okay, I'm guessing that's Almost Innocent Souls. So there's three that were extra.
Yeah, I sent you what they were. I'm surprised you watched
Yeah, for some reason
more.
I didn't see that. I just just went up and looked up the short films on the Conjuring short films, and they gave me all the ones there, the five plus three extras. So it's kind of neat having that.
Well, that's if the three are even related. I mean, they could just be hashtagged Conjuring or something and have
So one was
nothing to do
called
with it
Anne.
whatsoever.
It was So I don't really need to go into that. I didn't really like it that much. The next one was The Crooked Man, which was a animated short, kind of cool.
Okay.
And the other one was called Mother Mary, and I
Nope.
actually really liked that one. I was kind of sad that that wasn't part of the thing. They were all like and The Crooked Man and Mother Mary are all 2 minutes long each too. So maybe that's confusing, you know?
Well,
But
maybe these were more people that were in the contest, but they didn't win
okay, maybe
because they're
that's the
two
thing.
minutes. So maybe that's yeah.
Yeah, that would make sense. The Crooked Man was actually a minute and like a half, you know. But yeah, let's go through. So we said each one. What was your least favorite? Let's go from least favorite to favorite.
Well, I think that do you want to just tell people what each one is quickly like of like the what the little synopsis of it is?
Okay, so go through all the ones like the way that they were listed, and then we'll do that.
Yeah. So the nurse is the closest to the nun.
Right,
So it's little girl in hospital. She's had eye surgery, so she's all wrapped up. There's a cart that's rolling around. There's a nurse that's walking around. The nurse says, "Hey, we can take off your bandages." And the little girl goes, "Oh, great!" And then takes off the bandages and looks up, and it's the nurse has a horrible face.
right.
So that's the first one. The confession is the two girls, the young women that are living in the apartment, and there's like a demon, like one of those black demons running around that we
Yep.
see in the
Yeah,
Conjuring
like a
films.
shadow demon.
Yeah. What's wrong with mom is mom might be possessed,
Hmm. The
and
Warrens get called on that one.
that I thought was funny. That the Warrens were mentioned. So there's the priest, the little daughter, and then the mom, and the mom could be possessed, and they've called the Warrens to help. Uh, Blund's lullaby is two sisters. We see them doing different activities like brushing their teeth and playing and stuff. The mom calls them in. They go do different activities. One of the girls heads up into her. She sees like an umbrella in the hallway. She heads up to her room, and next thing you see, her entire area is it's all different colored umbrellas.
Right.
And then Innocent Souls, a group of like teenagers break into a haunted house, and I would assume that's pretty much the last we see of them.
Right.
So that's our quick synopsis of all five.
Okay. So what would you say your number five is?
Blund's Lullaby.
Okay. That was the one where they're brushing their fucking teeth in the outside.
I
You
don't know
know,
why you're. It's just showing them doing stuff. I mean, it's like
I,
2 seconds.
it made no sense.
They're
Like
just doing stuff together. There's friends or sisters or something, and they're just doing stuff together. It's just random.
outside. Why?
I don't know. They're just that's just where they're doing it. It didn't bother me at all. I just didn't feel that this, unless the umbrellas were part of the Crooked Man or something or so. I don't know. I didn't feel that the umbrellas had anything to do with the Conjuring universe.
Yeah.
So I didn't. Yeah, I didn't like that one. What was your fifth?
The Confession. That was my fifth.
Really?
Yeah, I was really disappointed by The Confession. I because it felt really fucking stupid. So there's so to go into a little bit more than, the two girls or whatever, this girl goes into a confession booth and tells the story, I guess, of what happened to her or whatever, and what's going on. Um and it made no sense. Like, what is she confessing? Like, I don't know what was she trying to escape from the people? I don't know. And then it was like it flashed to her and her dealing with the thing, and I just couldn't care. Like, my least favorite. Just
Okay.
couldn't
Okay.
get
I
into it.
mean, I thought that it matched the Conjuring stuff, especially
It
with
would have
the
been cool,
demon.
like remember we talked about the priest or whatever, and it would have
Yeah.
been cool if they did something with that. Like, she goes to a priest, but the priest is dead, and stuff. Like
Well,
that would
he's
have
on
been
the other side of the confession booth.
what?
He's on the other side of the confession booth.
He's a priest, like he's a
Yeah.
whatever, but he's not dead
No, no, she's just
talking to a priest. It would have been cool if you were a ghost priest or something. Like that would have been fun. I would have been okay with that. Maybe that'll be the short I'll make. Fuckers.
eh.
Yeah,
They got
you
two
know.
minutes.
I know. And then 2 minutes you can scare the shit out of somebody with her telling this story or whatever, and then the priest go rah, like that. Like whatever. I like that. Whatever. Anyway,
Okay.
yep. What's your fourth?
Innocent souls.
Interestingly enough, that's also my fourth.
Oh, okay. I did not care. I know it's 2 minutes, as we've said, but um, they break into a house and they kind of slowly get killed, and I don't care.
Yeah,
I
that was one thing, and I've talked to you a little bit about it too beforehand. I can't see a fucking thing in that movie. Like for a while, you can't see anything, and it's not scary. It's not, after a while, I'm like, can't, like, I
well,
was watching
what were
another
you?
movie and I could see everything in the dark. Like, make it so you can actually, the audience can see, the people
How were you
can't
watching them?
on YouTube, on my TV.
Okay, because I watched them on YouTube. I downloaded all of them and then I watched them on my television, and they were bright. Like I could see everything. And then I rewatched them today at work, and they were dark because most likely my computer monitor was dark. So I'm glad that I was able to watch them,
It
on the
was not
screen.
bright
But
in that, but yeah, I
yeah,
mean,
I thought it was perfectly bright. I understood everything that was going on. Like two ghost things pop up, and
barely saw that stuff. So I don't
so
know.
it
Maybe it's just
might be your screen.
might be my screen, but also you're right. Once again, it's also another thing of like, I just don't care, you know? Like,
Yeah, I did not think it was very Conjuring. It's so yeah. So what about number three?
oh, your turn for number three, remember?
Oh, what's wrong with mom?
Really?
Yeah,
Okay.
I
Um,
thought that it was the closest to like La Lorena because she kind of stood up, and the thing fell over from the bed. There's like the wrap that goes around the bed, and you can kind of see through it. I don't know what those exactly are called. And then when she stands up, it kind of falls over her.
yeah,
I did like the kid being pulled out of the room. I thought was kind of cool.
yeah.
Uh, and I did like the Warrens being mentioned. I like the priest, but yeah, I mean it's three for me.
Interestingly enough, that's my number two. My number three is Blund's Lullaby, which actually I liked. Even though I didn't like the doing the toothbrush outside, I like the kids enough, and whatever. And the girl was a little bit annoying, and she couldn't really act that well, but it still was interesting to me enough. Like, I want to know what was happening. There was a really good shot on the staircase that I really liked and stuff, and so I don't know, it got my attention a little bit more than a lot of these other ones.
To me, it felt more like it,
Right,
like
right, yeah,
instead of balloons, it's umbrellas, and she's seeing the one umbrella instead of the balloon, and then
right,
she goes up instead of the bed being surrounded by balloons, it's umbrellas, and I'm like, yeah, that doesn't feel very Conjuring to me.
yeah. Okay, I get that.
So
Um, so what was your number two?
the confession,
The Confession, really?
yeah,
So
I
you,
I, I thought that it was very Annabelle, two girls in the apartment, and so I kind of like that, and I like that it was that, yeah, like that shadow demon that's been in the other movies. Um, I didn't mind the confession. I like the priest being in there. I like that type of stuff. So yeah, I liked it. That's my number two.
I mean, I just wish there would be like more of a twist, more of a cool like thing with it at the end. But whatever. Didn't wasn't my thing, you know. But
Eh,
I get that. And I guess our number one is the same.
the nurse,
The nurse.
the
Yeah.
nurse.
Which I was
I
like, there's no way that you like something else more than the nurse. Nurse was really well done. I know these were like the winners, but I would hope that that was the one that the people are like, this is actually the most like The Conjuring, in my opinion.
yeah, I think the nurse, the nun, and then of course it's the demon or monster with the weird face in the outfit, the nurse outfit instead of
Yeah,
the nun outfit. Kind of floating in a way, like we see her at one moment down the hall, and there's the darkness, and she kind of comes out of the darkness into the hallway. But I like its location. I thought the nun, I was about to say the nun, the nurse looked kind of cool with her face,
hmm
and I could see them doing something more horror-y with this, having it just hospital based, you know. And
yeah,
it also kind of reminded me of Twilight Zone. If you remember that episode where the doctors are operating on the woman because, oh my god, she's so ugly,
yeah,
and they take off the bandages and she's beautiful because
right,
it's Ellie Mae from the Beverly Hillbillies, and then the camera pans over and the doctors and the nurses are all ugly. So it kind of reminded me of that, with like
yeah.
her with the bandage
Unwrapping
wrapped
the
around her.
bandages, yeah, I liked it.
Yeah,
I don't know, I dug it. I like the little girl. I like that in 2 minutes it was able to tell like a full story that kind of did interest me or whatever,
yeah.
and stuff.
Creepy cart kind of rolling around there,
Yeah.
and the
Like you said, it could be a movie, like a feature-length film, and I could actually see that. I don't, it doesn't even need to be in The Conjuring, like, it doesn't even need to be produced by James Wan. Somebody could actually literally go and make a cool, like, little short or feature from that. I hope
yeah.
those people do, you know?
Yeah, I would like to see, kind of like how we joked around on one of the other videos of the priest,
Yeah.
so I don't know if we could have the nun, the priest, the nurse, but I
Why
think that
not?
they could be interesting. Well, yeah, sure, why
They
not?
should
I
all
mean,
walk into a bar. Yeah, so anyway, I enjoyed watching these. As I said, I watched a few other ones too, and the only one I really liked of that one was called Mother Mary. The Crooked Man was cool, but it was just like a cartoon version of the poem, I guess they read or whatever in the thing. So I don't know. It was okay, you know. Like I liked Mother Mary though. I thought that was cool. The whole plot of that is like some girl uh is being stalked by something in the house or whatever, and then it turns out to be this nasty mother, character. And then you know, um, she says, it was not in English too, so it's subtitled, and it was like, "Mother needs you to do something, whatever," right? So she goes into another room with a big smile on her face, going to go take care of somebody, go kill somebody. I thought that was pretty cool. Um, but it's weird that that's not one of the winners, considering it's actually pretty good if it were what part of
well,
the contest.
yeah, that's if it was, yeah.
Yeah, I don't
So
know if it was or not, but if it was, it should have been. But I guess you can only pick five, and you know, they thought that Souls Lost was, innocent lost, whatever crap.
oh,
Innocent
Innocent
Souls.
Souls, yeah.
Yeah, crap.
And girls brushing their teeth.
Yeah. Girls were, I mean, whatever. I just thought it was weird as shit. It kind of bothered me, but obviously wasn't low on the list, in my
Yeah.
opinion, you know. Um, Yeah, so that's it. Of those, you know. So I think that's cool. And then we also watched The Maiden, which was done by the guy who Michael
Michael
Chavez or whatever.
Chavez, yeah. Yeah,
Chaves, whatever.
he talked about it on one of the, well, it was probably his first one, probably La Llorona then. So he
hmm
talked about that in the making of. Ray said that he had done a short film called The Maiden, and that's what caught James Wan's attention.
I get
So
it.
yeah, so it's like, hey, let's see if it's on YouTube, and boom, there it was. The whole thing was right there. So it's like, yeah, let's check
Basically,
that
it's
out
about a
too.
haunted house, because all these are, have the haunted house theme with the Conjuring, but it's like a haunted house called the Maiden, and it was called that because
Because it
uh
was pure.
pure. Like,
That's what
yeah.
yeah. So it's like a big house. It's got like pillars out in front. It's like 2 stories, 3 stories tall. It's really big. It looks very
It was
Victorian or
a
something.
wonderful
And
looking house. I want
yeah,
to live there
oh yeah. And it's
without
empty.
the ghosts.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We don't want ghosts in there, no. Unless they're down the
Nice
party.
ghosts. If they're nice ghosts, like Casper.
I mean, yeah. I mean, maybe if they're down to like, Netflix and chill type of thing,
I don't
that
want to. I don't want to Netflix and chill. That means I have to like get dirty with the ghosts. No,
yeah, why not? Some people are into
no,
that.
man. Like, I'm not
Yeah.
Dan
Try something
Aykroyd.
new. Try
I,
something
I
new.
I'm not Ray Stantz, man. I don't make. I don't let a ghost suck my dick.
Oh,
You never seen Ghostbusters?
yes, I have.
Yes. Okay. So you know exactly what I'm talking about.
Yes, yes,
Which
yes.
was for the longest time when I was a kid, I never knew what was going on. I literally thought that he was just happy to go to sleep. That was when I was a kid. That's all I thought.
Well,
Thank
now you know
God.
why he was happy.
I, you know what? I do. But the longest time I was like, man, that ghost is making him go to
There's a
sleep.
lot of adult stuff in Ghostbusters for a movie that's aimed at kids
It was
primarily.
not aimed at kids.
So, well, it's
Originally
PG.
speaking, it was not aimed at kids. This was not planned. It was not planned to be for kids. It was supposed to be an adult comedy, but not rated R. And kids got more attracted to it than adults did. They made a whole fucking cartoon out of it. But they made a
Call the
cartoon out of the
Ghost
Toxic
Toys.
Avenger, so I mean,
Yeah, yeah,
fucking
that's
Saturday
true.
morning cartoons are fucked. Like
I like that
crazy.
cartoon. But so we got the big house. There's the real estate agent, the attractive young real estate agent. She's taking some pictures outside of
She
it.
was really attractive, yeah.
Yeah, she's pretty. And she goes inside. She's got like a bucket of cleaning stuff, and then we just get different, like shots of her cleaning the floor, cleaning the tub. In what I'm just like, wow, those are not clothes to be cleaning in. Like the tight black skirt that she has on and the tight white shirt. Like this is not cleaning apparel, but she cleans everything, and then she sees a like a pentagram on the floor, probably like in the living room,
Mm-hmm.
and it's got the candles all around it, and it's got like something right in the middle, and she's like, huh. And then she starts cleaning it all up, putting it into waste paper baskets, and she's using like a little vacuum to, it's like I don't know what they would use, ash or whatever it was on the ground to make the pentagram with, and all that. And when she's done, and then no, this was the cool part, because I was trying to figure out how did they do this, and I realized
They
how they
gotta
did it.
do like they have to cut a hole in
They
the.
probably yeah. So I'm wondering if the house is going to be demolished,
That would be my guess.
since they do mention it's like the guy near the end says, oh yeah, it's like a place to demolish. So they probably cut a hole in the ground. They put her bucket full of water there because she's scrubbing the floor, and she looks in, and 2 hands come out and grab her face and pull her into the bucket, and she's like freaking out, and it goes
No,
on for, I don't know, 10 seconds or so. I thought it looked pretty good.
that was my
And
favorite part.
yeah, I'm like, something's in that bucket, but I was not expecting hands to come out.
Yep.
And she's down, she's all wet, like her hair is all wet and everything. And she goes to the front door, and a guy comes in, there's a guy there, and he says, oh yeah, the place smells like mildewy. And she goes, oh, that's downstairs, that's the pipes. And he's like, oh, is that what happened to you?
Yeah.
She's like, no, long story. And they go outside. And so this is where I got a little confused. So she's trying to convince him to buy the house. He's saying it needs to be demolished,
Yeah.
but he'll if they knock off like 20%, and then she gives part of her commission, he'll do it. They negotiate back and forth, they shake hands. She
Yeah,
admits
that
that
was
the house
following up
is
until then, and then what happens?
And then, because she gives a little bit of a history of the house, that's why we know it's called the Maiden. And then all of a sudden, from the back, a little girl comes around and says, "Daddy, Daddy, there's enough room for a swimming pool. Can we get a swimming pool?" And he's like, "Well, of course, honey. I think we could. Why don't you go up and look in your room? Try to find your like a bedroom for you." And the realtor's like, "I didn't know you had a kid." And the kid walks up the stairs and finds this necklace that the realtor found earlier on in a cabinet and put it on. Oh, that was one of the things in the hands in the bucket, which she, after it tries to drown her, it grabs the necklace
Yeah, so it
that
wants
she
the
found in
necklace.
a cabinet earlier. Yeah, that brings it back into the bucket. So now the little girl finds it at the front of the house at the door, and she holds it up, and then the camera pulls back, and we see there's like some ghost or demon or something there that grabs her. And the director of this did the same thing that he did in La Llorona, which I fucking loved. He doesn't pull people back, he launches them back. So it's not like they're just like being pushed. It's almost like they're going up and this way.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like the little girl, like the daughter in La Llorona, how she got, it's like she was shot out of a cannon.
Right.
And I friggin' love that shot. And he does the same thing with this little girl. Is she just goes straight into the house, the door's shut, there's like the demon, and that's where it ends. So I'm like, is the guy a ghost?
I don't know. Like that would mean the daughter would be a ghost, right?
Yeah,
I don't know. Uh,
because
it would it would have made more
realtor
sense
was
like
weird.
if maybe I don't know. It hopefully it would make more sense um if you watched uh like if you saw the necklace because we didn't see what was on the locket. It was a locket, and it would have been cool if it were a picture of both of them or something. And like,
I thought it was like a stone,
I thought it was a locket. Just somewhere
like
is a locket.
it was kind of like a stone like that, and it was attached on both sides.
Oh, maybe it was. I thought it was a
Because
locket that she could
that's
open
how
up.
the hand from the bucket could grab it, as it grabs it right in the middle and pulls it off of her.
It probably was. I thought it was a locket for some reason, which would have been cool if it opened up and it was the father and the daughter. That's what you know.
My only question on this is, why does the realtor act that way with the kid? Is she, "Oh, I didn't know you had a kid." Like it's kind of like a dun 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 moment.
That never got explained.
Yeah, like why is she saying it that way?
I-
Why is it being done that way? Like,
Why
if it
is it
was just
being
like,
dun dun dun?
yeah, like if it's just like, "Oh, I didn't know you had a kid. Hey, what's your name?" Then
I
I
don't
don't think I
know.
would have thought of anything. But
I have
but
no
it's good.
idea. I am drinking
It,
cocoa out of my cup, by the way.
I am just drinking water out of my zombie store.
I need a horror film lovers cup mug. I'm gonna buy that soon. Get
Oh,
that.
there you go.
But I got You've got one of these.
I do. If I knew that you're going to be drinking out of it, I would have had it up here.
I didn't think about asking you to do that,
No,
but whatever. It's all good.
but
Um,
it's
yeah,
still a good short.
it's a very good
It's
short. It's
you
very
could
well
see.
done.
Yeah, you and I briefly talked about it, where we could see where this guy, would, catch James Wan's eye. So
Yep.
it's very
But you were like,
Conjuring.
we gotta save this for an actual conversation and not talk about it online, or whatever.
Yeah,
Um, I totally get that. I enjoyed it. I had a fun time with that one. It's probably my favorite of all the short period, stuff anyway. And you
I would
notice
say so. Yeah.
it was like 8 minutes long, which so I was talking to a friend of mine, and he's in the film business. He's worked with fantastic people, including your boy Mike Flanagan, and
Oh,
he my buddy Jeff Howard, and he mentioned like to me that because my I made a short called Follow Me and I sent it to him and he gave me some good critiques for it. And one of the things he said was that I need to make it about 8 minutes long, 8 minutes or long or shorter. because apparently festivals, the winners of festivals want the short shorter, like, and stuff because it it's got to grab your attention real quick. Those shorts that are like 2 minutes long, I kind of wish they were longer. I know that was probably the the stipulation they had to have. It had to be 2 minutes long, right?
Well, yeah, because nobody wants to sit through 10-minute movies when they have like 100 movies to go through.
Right.
So let's just make it 2 minutes. It's yeah, the whole idea of something like 8 to 10 minutes is I could come to your office and say, hey, Jonathan, Mr. Producer who works for MGM, do you have time to look at my film?
I
And
like
if
that.
I say,
Is that a future me?
I
Please,
think
please tell
so,
me
I think so.
that's a future me. And then,
It's a future you.
yeah.
And you will say, well, how long is it? And if I go, oh, it's 2 hours, you make fuck no. But if I go, oh yeah, it's like 8 minutes, you'll be like, oh yeah, I got time for that.
But I mean, has time changed that much that like
No, I
remember
think it's always been that way.
no, because the guy Robert Zemeckis, one of his first short films that he did that got the attention of Steven Spielberg was 15 minutes long, you know?
So 15 minutes is still fine.
Okay.
Remember Amblin was also like 15, 20
20
minutes
minutes,
long,
I
something
think.
like
Something
that.
like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a lot longer than and I'm not gonna lie, did not like it. Not a fan of the Amblin. I liked Steven Spielberg. I love him. And I even like some of his old school stuff he did with his friends. But Amblin was too boring to me, like not my type.
It's just good to watch these type of things from those
Oh, I
guys.
love it.
So
It's like watching the movie Bedhead that Robert Rodriguez did. You could see in that like Robert Rodriguez, you know?
yeah.
That's the thing. When you make these shorts, you have to make them stylized to who you are, right? So Michael Chavez makes makes this
The Maiden.
Maiden movie and decides basically and shows the pulling of the girl back, but like not just pulling her back, but like yanking her back into the house and everything. And it's so cool. And it's like she's like bent over like this. She's like folded in half when she goes in. And it looks so freaking cool. And you're like, and then later that's a style for him, you know,
Right.
and
Yeah.
everything. So I think that's what you have to do. You have to showcase your style, you know.
Sure.
And I think another reason why I like the short film for the Lullaby one was because it had like some of the behind the shots that Conjuring had where they're like following the girls and going into the rooms and everything like the tracking shots. It did that enough where I was like, oh, okay, this felt Conjuring like, and
Sure.
stuff. So, and The Conjuring is a style in a way. Like it has its own style, you know. So anyway, let's get into our
Yeah.
ranking. I'm excited. I'm
So
kind of like
these are for the films. All the
for the
all
actual
the
Conjuring
eight
universe.
movies, eight films.
I got all eight. I didn't have any extra.
Okay.
So
All
it'd
right.
be
So who wants to go
weird if
first?
I did.
So we're
Um,
starting off with the one we like the least.
yeah, I'll go first
Okay.
for that. Let's say Annabelle was my eight.
Oh, okay.
The original Annabelle. I just felt like the Annabelle itself was, especially after watching it in order and everything of whatever, it just it was the weakest. It just had the I don't know, the story I just didn't care for and most of the stuff. I have a feeling I know. See, these are gonna be some hot takes for me because I know what you love, and what you did not love at all because we discussed that. So I have a feeling I know what your number eight is. Do you want? Can I guess real quick?
Sure.
Conjuring 3.
You win, sir. You
Yes.
win. Yes.
And you're gonna be mad at me because it's gonna be a hot take of what I think of Conjuring 3. But all right. Why do you pick number that for your number eight?
It feels like an X-Files episode. Oh, pardon me. Oh, geez. Um, sorry, it feels like an X-Files episode. I think it's the most Hollywood out of all of them. I don't find the story to be interesting. And even with all the stuff that they added to it that never happened in real life, it
Mm-hmm.
doesn't make it interesting. I think that the priest that has pretty much his version of the Warrens, museum is more interesting than anything that happened in this movie. So I want to see a movie about that. Um,
Yep.
eh,
Backstory about that.
yeah,
Yeah.
I just didn't find it interesting. I just didn't. It just I kind of liked it a little bit more the last time I saw it, but it's still I just don't. I don't like all the flashbacks. We don't need to know more about Ed and Lorraine. We don't. It was fine in Conjuring 2, what we heard. That was fine.
All right.
So they,
I'm gonna give
yeah.
my feelings on it, later, but so I'm not gonna argue or say anything until later,
Okay.
and say my own things. For it. All right. So my number 7 is The Nun. And I just felt like it was boring.
Oh my God.
Yeah. But I've talked about this earlier, like this is nothing new. None of the stuff I'm saying right now is really anything new. Um,
It's nothing. None.
it's none of your business.
None thing.
Yeah, none thing. I don't know. I wanted to like it a lot more, just couldn't really get that into it, and stuff. And I think it has to do with, and we've talked about this a little bit, but the three main characters together just didn't feel right to me. Like they just felt like they were all kind of forced into the situation, which could be an interesting thing, but then just doesn't do anything for me. Like I don't know, I don't like it. And I'm excited for the Nun too. Like I still will want to see that. Like I'm I'm not against the Nun, kind of thing, but I'm just not eh, just I just wasn't all that into it as much.
Wow. Okay. Well, I'll tell you what my number 7 is. Annabelle.
That's so funny. All right. And why is it your number 7?
Um, I'm not going to judge these from the order that we saw them
Right.
because since we realized that it didn't make sense,
Well,
it
yeah,
didn't
I
really.
almost
It
feel like you
worked, but it
should
didn't work.
though, because then then it's such a clusterfuck of why they did it like this, Like, don't make prequels if you're not going to go back and fix it so that things make sense, you know?
Yeah, they retconned a lot,
I
changed a
know this.
lot. So it's um one, I guess I just don't care about Annabelle that much.
Hmm.
I like Annabelle, but I just
Neither do I really. Like, I think
um
she's okay, but like,
yeah,
like I'll watch another Annabelle movie, but is she somebody that needs to keep going necessarily? I think what
no,
I
she
would
just sits
suggest is that
there.
that guy who made The Nun 2 slash Conjuring 3 slash Curse of La Llorona, our buddy Michael, should direct another Annabelle. So you can say he's done one of every of the, he's done a Nun, he's done,
and
uh,
and and he can have like Annabelle launched, so we can see her like a wide shot
yes,
of Annabelle going from the front door, like she shot through a cannon, all the way to like the kitchen, and it's just a side
dude.
shot of just her just going back like that.
I would watch that. I would love that. Oh, James Wan, make that happen, please.
Yeah, I just didn't. It's fine. Like on all of these, I think I liked them more this time around than I did
Yeah,
before. But it's one of those films where it's fine. It's
right.
fine.
Yeah,
It's
that's
okay.
why I didn't like it. It was just like, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I guess for they probably didn't expect for it to be as big as it was. So maybe if they knew, the film would have been better. But it's not horrible. It's just I think out of all the Annabelle films, it maybe yeah. Well, obviously it's number 7. It's my least favorite. So
Yeah. So there you go. Um,
Yeah,
all right. So you did your what number
7.
seven. So
So we're
number
on 6.
6 is Annabelle Comes Home. So I don't know if that's no, I
That is
think
mine.
yeah, that's what I figured.
Number 6,
Um,
Annabelle Comes Home. Yeah.
that's what I kind of figured it would be. Because like figuring out you and like whatever, but like I thought it was yeah, I figured Annabelle Comes Home because it was sort of like it was the second weakest Annabelle movie, or whatever. It
It
just wasn't,
frustrates me.
yeah, and it sort of frustrated me too. So we can both talk about this. It's our both our sixes. I just felt like Annabelle didn't need another prequel story or like sort of I don't know if it's a prequel or whatever it is. It just didn't need another story like that. Didn't need
No,
uh
it would be part 3. It wouldn't be, so it would be, because it would go creation, Annabelle, and then comes home.
yeah, true. That's true.
I
So it
mean,
is three, but
stuff
it's
irritates me. Like, why would the Warrens, with everything they've been through, just leave the doll in the back seat? Put it in the trunk. Why isn't it like wrapped in something? Or why don't they like permanently have in
do
the
you know
back of their
why?
trunk like
Do
a
you know
case
you know why? So that
so
they
the
can
camera
have
can see
that
it?
scene with the ghost coming out and everything, and then it dawns on them she's a beacon for all these other things that explains the rest of the movie. That's the only reason. That's the only
Yeah,
reason
why you're
for
not
plot to
suspicious that your
happen.
car just happens to break down right next to a cemetery and all of a sudden fog engulfs it, and you got some possessed doll in the back
And
of
then
your
a car
car?
almost hits everybody because the doll is controlling the car, I guess, or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was
and
just
and I don't like also the young girl who, I get it, she wants to talk to her dad, she blames herself, but I
she was
really,
cute, but she was kind of annoying.
yeah, but if she
Like
just, I think if she just went to the Warrens and said, look, I blame myself for this, is there any way you can help me? I bet they would.
once again, she just touches everything. Touch, touch, touch,
Oh
touch.
my god, and the touching is uh
Mhm.
stop touching everything, stop it,
Somebody's
stop
gonna
it.
come to your house and just start touching everything, John.
uh I've already, I had somebody over recently who was touching my stuff and not putting it back correctly, and it was driving me nuts. And I had to fix it after they left.
Could have fixed it while they were there and just be like, "See, this is what it's supposed to be."
Yeah, they're like just moving it just a little over here, and I'm like, come on, no, no, it goes back that way. No,
It's the other way.
drives me, people touching stuff drives me nuts.
Hey,
So
I get it. I don't like people touching my shit too.
so
All right, so
okay, so number
number
5.
6 is the same for us. So
Yeah,
number 5, my number 5 is Curse of La Llorona. What is yours?
it is not Curse of La Llorona.
Okay, well, interesting. So mine was Curse of La Llorona. I liked it, but I felt like out of all the rest of them, I kind of liked all the rest of them more. Um, I don't know. Curse of La Llorona has some bits that I really dug. I think a lot of it I just remember the first time I tried watching it and how bored I was by certain things and stuff. And I really love Linda Cardellini. Like I have a huge, huge crush on her. And I think
She
she's
is quite hot.
and not just that she's hot, but she's a really good fucking actress. And I feel like she doesn't get as much love as she deserves. She's a better Velma than
I
the one.
fuck yeah.
She's the best Velma
I mean,
there
my
is right
my
now.
favorite Velma is Bobby Starr, the porn version of it, but
Oh well, I mean,
Scooby Doo, the XXX parody, is would be my favorite version of
I
all the
get that, but
characters, which surprisingly does not have Scooby Doo. Just like Velma does not have Scooby Doo, the porn version does not have Scooby Doo either. They're
I mean,
searching for
a
Scooby Doo because he's
porn
lost.
that has Scooby Doo might be pushing a little bit, like pushing boundaries. But no, I just felt like the movie's okay. Like it was good, it was fun, it was entertaining, it had moments that I liked, but and it had the cool shit like the people flying and stuff like that. But all in all, it was nothing where I'm like, I want to go see that movie again. Like right
It was
now,
fine.
it
It
was
was fine.
fine. It was
It was
fine.
fine.
And I like if somebody were to say, "Hey, do you want to watch Curse of La Llorona at my house?" I would say sure. Like I'd be
Okay.
okay. But I'd probably be like, "Can you watch something else?" Like, but if that's what they really, really wanted to watch, I'd watch it with them. Uh, like the what is it? Annabelle, if somebody said, "Hey, you want to watch it?" Nope. I have no interest. No. Like I'd rather I
Yeah,
own it.
it's
I own it, but I just, mainly because it's part of the Conjuring universe. I want to eventually get all of them, but I have no real interest in that. So,
that's why I like buying those collections because then you get the good and the bad.
yeah, but like the
So
collections are like on eBay are like $35 and I'm like, I just don't I'd have to I'd have to make sure I have like money saved up to do that. But then again, I do spend a lot of money on a bunch of other ones, that I don't know,
you
whatever.
just buy it used. That's what I did. I think I got it
That
for really
that that was
cheap. So
I don't know, that's what I saw used was $35 and I was like, God damn, that's
yeah,
expensive.
it's kind of like the Godfather. Is that when it before it came out on Blu-ray, when it was on DVD, you got the Godfather, Godfather 2, and Godfather 3. Well, you're spending your money on Godfather 1 and Godfather 2, and
Right.
Godfather 3 is like the bonus disc that you didn't pay for, but you have the
Yeah,
whole
but
collection.
I could have bought a box set, I think probably for Blu-ray of the Scream movies, and Scream 3 is one of my least favorite movies. So I still don't have that movie to this day. I remember when we reviewed it, I had to rent it, or whatever because it wasn't
I've come to
available
like it a
anywhere.
little bit better. I just don't. I think what drives me nuts about that one is I don't like the Jane Silent Bob stuff. I think it takes me
I
out of the
mean,
movie.
it
And
that
Courtney
didn't never
Cox's
bothered
hairdo,
me.
fucking hairdo with Courtney Cox. I don't know.
Yeah, a lot of people hate that. Even Sarah Michelle Gellar was talking about her hair in one of the videos I watched of her, doing like these like Q&A things. She was talking about her hair was like so messed up in one picture, and everybody kind of makes fun of it, you know, and stuff. But sometimes people do stupid haircuts. Sometimes it's
They should be fired.
I,
Um. Oh, so my number five would be Annabelle Creation.
okay. That's my number four, but okay.
So I think we kind of seen on except for maybe one, we kind of seem to be a little like right above or right below each other.
No,
So
one was the
you
number
know,
one, like the last one of mine or the last one of yours, and not we haven't even gotten to that one on mine yet.
Creation for me is fine. I think it's the best, which is why it's lower.
Yeah.
But it's still I just don't really care that much about Annabelle,
Hmm.
and I think it's well made. I think it's well shot. It's well directed and everything, but it's yeah, it's good. I would watch
Yeah.
that one again. I would probably watch Come Home again. I don't really care to watch Annabelle again, but yeah, I mean it's fine.
It's fine.
It does its job. It's okay. It's all right. So
It's fucked up, insecure, neurotic, and what's E? You never heard that? Like fine is fucked up, insecure, neurotic, and E is
no
supposed to mean something. I don't know. It's
extreme. Is it Ted
no,
Bundy?
no.
No, I
Um,
used to say fine all the time. My friends used to give me a lot of crap about it back in like the 90s when we were all hanging out together in LA. And they would say, John, what did you think of the movie? And I go, it was fine. And soon enough they would even say fine. And it's like because meh wasn't a thing back then.
mhm.
So it was fine. I
Emotional,
didn't hate it. I didn't like it. It's
emotional.
fine. So
E is
oh, he's
emotional.
oh, got it.
And but that's there's that scene in Scream 2 to go back to Scream, or whatever, which we do a lot. Um Scream 2 had that scene where she was like, I'm fine. Like, I'm fine seems to be your calling, your calling card or your, whatever. Like sh Nev Campbell just kept saying she was fine when she obviously wasn't,
And
you know.
Sarah Jessica Parker. What the fuck? Sarah Michelle Gellar was in Scream too.
Yeah, I loved her in that.
So
I actually just heard like because I have a little thumb drive that I've been listening to all my music with and stuff, and the song that popped in when I was going out today was one of the songs from Scream 2. The it was The Swing by Everclear. It's like I never said I was innocent, that one. Yeah. I don't know. I
I
love that
probably would
song.
know it if I heard it.
Yeah, if you heard it, you would
I
know it. And you would
I
know exactly
mostly
the scene because every time I hear that it's right after Sarah Michelle Gellar falls and dies, it's the song that plays right after. So every single time I hear that song, I think of Sarah Michelle Gellar's character Cece falling down and dying. It's
I
kind of
love her in
weird.
Scream too. I like her name. I like that she has like a small scene in it, and according to the making of, that was it. Getting her in that movie was the thing. Like they
Right.
reworked the whole schedule to get her there because she was doing Buffy, and that it was like nobody was as famous as like she was at that point. Like she was the shit. They to get her on that film was a big deal. So
And I love that. I love that she got to work with Kevin Williamson and got to, you know what I mean, and Wes Craven and all that stuff. I
yeah,
think that's
Kevin
awesome.
twice. So yeah,
Kevin twice?
I know what you did last summer.
Oh, that's right. But I mean,
He
I
wrote the
don't know
script.
how much he was actually like there for except for writing the script,
He's
like
still listed. It counts. It
I know,
counts.
I know.
It counts. So,
It counts. So
all right.
you must love him. Okay, moving
So
on.
number four.
So number four for me, remember was Annabelle Creations, which I thought was okay. You know, it was fun. It was enjoyable. I liked the fact that it wasn't it kind of reminded me once again, we talked about this before, but kind of Ouija had the origins, so this was, Annabelle origins, and kind of stuff. And I like that. Like I always like when we kind of go back in time. I liked all the characters. I liked all the stuff that's going on there, and everything. Just a lot of fun. So I enjoyed the movie. I'd watch that again and again and again. I mean, there were maybe little things we can be nitpicky about, especially about the stuff that they kind of retcon or whatever and change around and stuff from the very beginning. But other than that, or actually end of the movie, because it's just was weird. Why they ended that way? Why like if they've already
I
done
guess
Annabelle, why fuck it up? Like why not keep it?
I don't know. I think it's and I mentioned this on one of the other videos that it's not like we're in like the 1940s and it's a Universal monster movie where Frankenstein, the monster falls into quicksand, and then a year later the sequel comes out, and they do pull him out of the quicksand, but they're not expecting you, like you wouldn't remember. So if the quicksand was in a jungle and then they move the quicksand to a park, you're not supposed to remember that. You're
Right.
just, but today it's so easy to check this stuff that you would think that they would do a better job with it.
Yeah, see, here's the thing. This is what I like about Marvel and probably DC probably does the same thing now too. But they have people who actually check continuity stuff all the time for these films, They have people here, I forgot what they're called, like Parliament or something, but they're like there in Marvel to make sure that this person used Spider-Man in this movie, but was Spider-Man like this in this movie, right? Oh, we wasn't like that, so don't make that happen. You know what I mean? Like that totally why can't Warner Brothers and Conjuring and I do blame Warner Brothers. I blame Warner Brothers back then because they were a total mess. Remember, this is before Discovery took over, most of the time. So like they were a total mess. They didn't know so maybe half the time they weren't paying attention to shit. They were just
I
putting
think
shit
they
out.
were. I think they knew exactly what they were doing. I think that they probably went back and watched the movie and said, "Oh shit, we did this. Well, nobody's going to care. We'll just change it a little bit." My more concern is why are there three things called Annabelle? You know, it's like, why is there the doll Annabelle? Then there's the person Annabelle.
And then the
You know,
demon,
then there's the demon Annabelle, and it's like,
which
how many
the demon
Annabelles
is
can
not
there be?
Annabelle. It was named something
No,
else,
yeah,
but everybody calls the demon Annabelle. So
yeah,
it's just
Hootie or something like that. Yeah,
it's so confusing. Anyway, yeah.
yeah.
So that was my number four. What's your number four?
My number four is the Curse of La Llorona.
Yeah, thank
So
you. I knew you liked that.
I really enjoyed it, and the scene that made it for me was the kid launching across the room. To me, that just that brought it up like three or four spots. To me, that shot is incredible. It is so funny, and
And it's so fun. Like the movie itself is fun, you
and
know.
it has umbrellas in it.
Maybe that has to do
The
with
the little girl, the daughter, is out by the pool, and she has the umbrella, and it suddenly opens, and she brings it down, and there's nothing there. She brings it up, and there's La Llorona. She brings it down again. You know, like if it goes into the pool. So maybe umbrellas have something to do with this.
oh, maybe.
You know, yeah, I thought it was well directed. I do like that director, even though he did Conjuring 3, which was not poorly directed. It's just the story that they chose to write.
Yeah, you blame
You
the
know,
story for it all, but oh.
yeah, because it's just not that interesting. It really, the case itself, the true life story, isn't that interesting. You know, it's not like he murdered 20 people. He killed a fucking asshole who deserved it. You know.
All right. Well, that brings me to mine, which is Conjuring 3 is number 3 on mine, you know.
Jesus, how could that be so high? It's in the
Okay,
top
and I'll tell you.
five.
I will tell you why. Because okay, so the first time I watched it, this was when I was doing it for Horror, Blood and Coffee. Everybody was telling me this is like the worst. I don't even remember exactly what was said in the review or whatever. I might have bashed it a little bit back then. Rewatching it, I had so much fun. It was such a fun movie. Sure, it wasn't the Conjuring, like it wasn't, but I liked the side stories. I liked them trying to solve the mystery of the chick and going into the woods and all the
It had
detective stuff there.
moments.
And, I liked I liked the main character story the not well the main other than the Warren's character, the guy who's on trial and then he's in jail and he's dealing with the with everything there. That was interesting to me. Of course, it felt Hollywood, like you said. There made no sense that he was being that he had the scene where he's being lifted up and nobody is doing anything, and they're allowing some girl to get really close to him when he can obviously like snap her neck and kill her when there's fucking police everywhere. Yes, I get that. That didn't bother me. I thought it was cinematically looked pretty fucking cool. Like for a director thing, like Michael Chavez did a great job directing a scene where, you know, the guy's about to kill the girl and he's floating and shit like that. I like that.
Okay.
I all in all, I enjoyed it. I think it was out of all the Conjuring movies, it was the weakest. However, it was to me, it was better than any Annabelles and the other ones. Like I don't know. I had more fun with it. But I'm weird on these things because obviously you and I have differing opinions, and that is actually what makes it great to have these shows. Because if we were not like Siskel and Ebert and we were always agreeing with everything, then it'd not be fun to me. Like it'd be like, okay, great, we both like this movie, or we both didn't like this movie, and that's it.
Sure.
You know.
Well, my number three, and it went back and forth between 3 and 4. So I think I did one list where La Llorona was number 3, and then I settled on The Conjuring, on the first Conjuring film as number 3.
Really? So you
Yeah,
like The Nun more than The Conjuring?
yeah,
Oh wow. Okay.
yeah.
Um, The Conjuring, yeah, I'm surprised about that, but all right. So
I mean, I like it. It's well made, but once again, it's the first. and so they didn't exactly know what they were doing yet. But I like it, but I like some of the stuff in, you know, Curse of La Llorona actually better than The Conjuring. But
I don't know.
I don't know
I
if
like.
somebody.
I think James Wan is a fantastic director, and I think he's better
Oh, he
than
is.
any of these other people. And no offense to everybody else who directed amazing, amazing work, but I don't know. I liked it more. I had more fun.
Okay.
But
Well, then what's your number two?
Conjuring. No,
The
the first
Conjuring.
Conjuring.
Okay.
The first Conjuring is number two. So obviously you know what number one is then. But number two is The Conjuring. I thought Conjuring was a lot of fun. I James Wan directed so well. There were so many great shots. It was almost like Hitchcock reincarnated, in my opinion. Like if Hitchcock did a horror film, ghost
Really?
story today, James Wan, in my opinion, would be like next in line for that, you know.
Wow. I mean, if you had to do a comparison, I'd probably say, you know, Mike
Mike Flanagan,
Flanagan
yeah.
would be
A
closer
lot
to
of people would say
Hitchcock.
that. Even I think Paul would say that too. But I think Mike is close to that too, you know. They're both sort of in that ballpark together, but I I, I feel like I like James Wan's technical shots a lot better than Mike Flanagan's, in my opinion. My opinion. But
Okay. I mean, I love James Wan too, but
yeah,
it's so okay. Then my number two is The Nun.
then none, which
Yeah,
you seem to really love. And I I dig it. I just not my cup of tea, but
I thought it. My only issue with the entire movie is just Frenchie cracking some jokes, which I thought didn't match. That
right.
that
They
that's
tried to
kind of
bring
my
humor
problem.
into it when they don't really need to.
No, you know, and I like what's her face's sister being in it. I thought was kind of cool.
I like her. I like Talisa, or whatever her name's, Farmiga. I really like her, but I just didn't like the dynamic. I hate that and I hate, that's a strong word. I don't like the main priest guy. Just couldn't care for him, you know? And I think that's another reason why I just couldn't get into the movie. It's just if he weren't in the movie, I think I would have liked it a little better because I think Frenchie added a little comic relief, which you didn't like, but I wouldn't have minded. And the other girl was cute and sweet and nice and and she was the heroine, in the movie, or whatever. And I didn't find, the priest guy. I think he's a famous actor. I don't know. I'm really bad with actors, like I lived in Hollywood and probably passed by famous people all the time and didn't know and nor cared, because I'm not like that. That's not, I don't seek that stuff out. By the way, I think me and so I don't know if I ever told you the story, but I met Wet Movie One once, Brendan Mitchell, and I met him and another filmmaker was out there. We were hanging out at there's a cafe in Burbank, and Tobin Bell, I think, was sitting like a few, you know, tables down, the Saul guy, and none of us wanted to go and ask him or talk to him or even see if that was him, because we were like, we're not talking to Jigsaw while he's eating. We're gonna bother Jigsaw while he's trying to have a good day,
Eating his burrito.
right? Like don't bother him. Let him drink his coffee and enjoy himself. But that's the thing. I would have walked by Tobin Bell and I wouldn't have probably even recognized him, you know. And so I don't know who the main guy of this movie was, but I think he was sort of famous and I just couldn't care,
Well,
you know.
he was in Godzilla vs King Kong, Chaos Walking, The Grudge, Alien Covenant, The Hateful Eight,
Whatever happened
Machete
to the rest of the
Kills.
Godzilla stuff? Like, weren't they going to do more with that universe?
Yeah, they are. They are.
They're still working on it?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know because Godzilla vs. King Kong is the last one, and I think they set up for something else, but I have not seen or heard anything about. And I know the C word, which I don't like to say on the 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 pandemic C word
COVID.
caused. I'm trying not to have that in my things because it literally the YouTube hears
No,
that
if you're
stuff
if
and
you're making money, then it matters. If you're not
okay.
making money, then it doesn't matter. Look
Are
how
you
many times I swear.
I know, but I'm
I
just
swear all the
I want to
time.
make sure I don't get in trouble or kicked off my freaking site. But because of that, I think a lot of movies and universes have ceased to be, as well. But we both have the same number one.
The Conjuring 2.
Yes, we both like The Conjuring 2 more than anything
See,
else.
James Wan. I think
He,
James Wan made the best Conjuring film. Made the best movie out of all eight.
yeah. Well, I mean, I like once again, I like both Conjuring and Conjuring 2 up there, right? But I like The Conjuring 2 a lot more than The Conjuring 1 because I think you're right that he realized, he was able to get into a groove by then. They've done a few movies. It was 3 years later, he was able to go and make, a movie that sort of was better than the other one. And I think this goes into your thing of like Star Wars, your
My
Star
Star
Wars
Wars trilogy theory. Yeah.
trilogy thing where
Well, until part four, which then it negates it because then it's a quadology. But until that comes out, yeah, Conjuring would be Star Wars, which is good. Conjuring 2 would be Empire Strikes Back, which is great. And then Conjuring 3 would be Return of the Jedi,
which
which
is
is
terrible.
fine. It's okay. It's all right. Yeah, Return of the Jedi is not horrible. It's just the worst out
Return
of
of
the
the Jedi
three.
has issues, but I did
It has
like
a
it.
lot of
I mean, I
issues. No,
still
so did I.
I
I can
still
always watch it.
enjoy it because my dad hates it because of Ewoks, but I remember uh there was a thing about if you were born in a certain time, there's a How I Met Your Mother had a thing. If you're born at a certain time, you like Return of the Jedi because it reminded you of your stuffies, or whatever. So if you were a kid when you watched Return of the Jedi first came out, you know, you loved it. If you were an adult, when it first came out, you hated it because you were already grown past the point of stuffed
No.
animals.
Yeah, I was in middle school. I actually waited outside that cinema theater I was telling you about that was owned by Lucas and Coppola. I was out there for 6 hours. I was in the newspaper.
Nice.
So yeah,
See,
they took a picture
see,
of
you
all
were
of
one of
us
those
and
people. You were one of the first people, like, because they talk about that where the people will wait in line for the movie and everything. That became like a phenomena because like Star Wars started that, I think, or something where people like lines around the block would be there or whatever. But before then, like Jaws didn't have people lined around the block, but the Star Wars movies did, and stuff like that. Nobody waits in line for Schindler's List, so Spielberg never gets the love, man. E.T. may, I don't know. Probably not, because nobody
well,
like.
ET had lines
Well,
because that was
somebody
like the big
said
movie.
once that George Lucas, because of his merchandising and because of the way he is with that stuff, um, he has this universe, right? Spielberg didn't have a universe. Every movie he did was not connected to each other, except Indiana Jones, which was basically Lucas, you know, and stuff. Even then,
Well, Spielberg's films were set in the world where those were movies. So if you watch ET or Close Encounters, they have Star Wars posters and Star Wars toys.
right.
So Spielberg's movies, so they weren't within the world of Star Wars, but they were within the world that Star Wars was a movie, that Star Wars existed.
Yeah, because like I was watching Dawson's Creek. I'm sorry, I don't care. It's one I still love that show. Katie
I
Holmes is
used
hot. Um,
yes.
I'm saying that as a preface to everybody else because some people are gonna
Uh,
get on me about that. But
We did a whole thing on Kevin Williams.
that's true. I love my Kevin Williamson, and he's the one, and I think it's because of
Williamson.
Scream.
Williams.
It's because of Scream I watched Dawson's Creek because I love Scream so much And I was like, I gotta watch this Dawson's Creek show, you know. Then I watched Dawson's Creek and fell in love with that, and I became, Vampire Diaries and everything else Kevin Williamson's done, including Glory Days and other things. And tried watching the following. I need to rewatch that. But anyway, point is, in there, was it Dawson's a Spielberg lover. He's got posters
Yeah.
of every movie that, or whatever. And he even says at one point, it goes from certain time periods and Spielberg's lives to good to bad, whatever, the cult ones, the whatever, you know what I mean? And I'm like, see, I mean, Kevin Smith is probably the person that I'm most in love with his career, stuff, especially his older stuff more than his newer stuff. But I still really, I still love the dude to death, period. And, you know, I would have loved to have had like big posters of all the Kevin Smith stuff. I just never really did that. But you know, uh, but I can still do that at some point. I might
You can order posters and
of
hang
my
them up.
big posters too, so it costs a little bit more than the 11 by 17 that I'm getting.
Yeah.
Anyway,
So,
that's
but well, I did something on yesterday, yeah, Sunday, that I kind of followed with what we've been doing with Conjuring, and then coming up with Insidious, how we're watching them in the order that the films take place. So I watched, and this kind of relates to the Conjuring stuff. So I watched Orphan First Kill, and then I watched The Orphan,
okay.
which has I never know about Fominka. How do you pronounce her first name?
Which
Vera?
one? Vera
Is
Farmiga?
it Vera Farmiga? Yeah. So she's in it. She plays the mom in The Orphan. And
Interesting.
once again, it doesn't work. Like if you watch Orphan First Kill and then you go into Orphan, it doesn't work. Like and in this one, I don't know if it's intentional or not, because they say they're a year apart, but the family that she's with in First Kill has a different last name than the family that they talk about in Orphan. And it's like, but some of the stuff matches, but some of it doesn't. And it's like, oh, okay. I thought I was going into this with, like, they watched Orphan and then said, okay, so we're going to show the house burning down. We're going to show this. We're going to show that. They do, but it's completely different when you hear it in Orphan.
Right.
So it's weird. So it's like, okay, so was Orphan First Kill, like, she's with a different family, and then she's been in like 10 different families, and we're just seeing two of them because the names don't match. It's weird.
I don't
These
know, I've
things,
never
so it's
watched
gonna
them
be,
either
yeah, I
or.
mean, they're both good. I like both of them, especially the First Kill. But it's going to be interesting to see what happens with the Insidious films, to see if they
Match
if
up
they
like that.
work. Yeah, because so far it's been kind of a mixed bag.
I don't know. That's Blumhouse. They might be pretty good. Who knows? We'll see. We'll find out because that'll be our next project is watching
Yeah.
all the Insidious movies back to back. And then after that, we go into some more James Wan stuff, produced or whatever, not necessarily directed. Though I do want
Right.
to do Malignant because that'll be fun, you
Oh yeah.
know, and stuff like that. And then of course we'll get to Megan. I think will be the mid-season finale will be Megan, you know. Can talk about that. Hoping by then maybe it'll be out available and I can rewatch it again. So I don't think it'll be in the theaters next month or whatever.
It's doing good. I think it was like number 5.
Wow.
Yeah.
People still like it. I mean,
The
I
that M Night movie, knocked Avatar 2 out of first place.
So Knock on the Cabin knocked, you know, Avatar 2 out of the cabin.
It did right out of the
Nice.
cabin.
Good. Good. Somebody needs to fucking shut James Cameron down, you know. Um, I don't I honestly I'm gonna watch that soon, but I am not excited about it. Um, I've heard mixed reviews, mostly negative, about it and stuff, and I'm just like, I don't know. I'll go
I
in with a with an open mind, but coming from the fact that I hated, hated Old, that movie was so bad.
oh, you meant I thought you were talking about Avatar.
Oh no. I'm not gonna watch Avatar. No. Fuck Avatar. Like I'm gonna say
I
that
never
straight up.
saw Old. I kind of stopped with. I kind of pick and choose his stuff. Well, and one review said for this new one, The Cabin, they're like, oh yeah, if you see the trailer, it's the movie. Don't go see the movie. There is no twist. That's the whole thing. It's
Okay.
the apocalypse. It's they're talking about the apocalypse. That's the movie.
Yeah.
So now I'll just wait.
I mean, I might see it in the theater just because something to go to the theater with. I know I'm gonna see Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania in the theater, and that's 100% happening, Like, but aside from that, I don't know. I don't. It's weird. There's not that many movies in the theater that I like right now. Um, and now in March, can't wait for the new Scream,
Right.
and stuff. So,
Oh yeah,
um,
that I'll see.
Scream 6, I'm sure I'll see that in the theater.
I know
Um,
Joe Lujan was telling me that there is a boycott that's going to happen, that he read about it online and he's going to join it for
for what?
Scream. That it's a boycott not to see the film in the first week because of Nev Campbell.
Fuck that. Like, you know what? I mean, that's all of that stuff, all the stuff that's happening with her is a personal business thing, that is none of our business. We shouldn't be, oh my God, let's stick up for Nev Campbell because that's her. Like, if she doesn't feel like she got paid well enough, she doesn't have to do the movie, right? Like, that's literally what happens to almost every actor or mostly actresses, to be honest.
Yeah, it's mostly
Actresses,
women.
yeah, mostly women get fucking shafted, when it comes to this stuff. But I don't know how much money they offered her. She's not gonna share that information with all of us, and um if I knew personally how low it was, you know, but what if it was like she wanted $2 million to be in a movie that's gonna cost $6 million or something. You know what I mean? And then she was saying, "Oh, I'm
Then
I'm worth
I
that
think
much
give her the
money."
two. Yeah, I would say she is. She's the franchise.
But I'm saying like I might get in trouble for this shit, but I'm just saying that it is not her, like it is not everybody else in the world's decision for her, Like if I'm a fan of hers, but I'm not gonna, I'm gonna say I need to know the whole facts. I need to know everything. I need to know if you are getting shafted, how much you're getting shafted by, because it might not be that much. It might be, you know, she wanted way more than she should be getting, you know. Who knows?
I don't know. I just say pair what she wants. Just it's her franchise. Just give it to her. I mean,
Is it really her franchise though? I mean,
she's the main actress. Yeah.
I would have said normally it was Kevin Williamson, but then he left and everything. So, you know, um, she was she was the survivor, but after like this last one that they did, they kind of treated her like shit anyway. Like I almost thought she was gonna die because like there was like she was
No,
she was
she said that she will do them as long as she doesn't die. That Sydney is a survivor, so she won't die.
You know what'd be really fucked up is if they wrote into the script that, she died,
Off
like off
screen.
screen somewhere.
No, because they'll probably. I mean, I'm happy to see Kirby back and stuff like that. So for me, there's already enough people in it, but you never know. They may work stuff out, and she'll be back in Scream 7.
Maybe.
You
Um,
know, because Kirby probably won't survive this one at least. Who knows? Maybe Courtney Cox will even die. So then they'll
no offense,
want.
but I'm kind of hoping that that's the case. Sounds terrible, but like, what is Courtney Cox doing with this franchise? Like, she was terrible in the last one. She was awful. Like, it just
I thought she
was
was
like,
fine.
and Dewey already died, so like, just start killing off all the legacy characters.
But yeah, they need to do both. Yeah, new and old. So that'd be fine.
And
You
and
know.
Kirby, they shouldn't have even. They should have just let her be gone. Like,
No, we love Kirby.
mm, I think Kirby was great, but she was no like there was no saying she was still alive in the fourth one or whatever, and they never mentioned her in fifth one. I don't think
Yeah,
either.
they did.
Did they?
She's mentioned in the fifth one. Yeah.
Which one? Which part?
She's on a computer screen
Oh,
and it says Survivor
oh, okay.
Kirby. Yeah.
Okay, so they
So
were
they
setting
already
up
knew.
that she was
Yeah.
already going to be back in the sixth one, or they're setting up that she
Yeah.
was already coming back. Okay, I don't remember seeing that. I saw it in the theater like twice, I think, and both times I can't read what it says on those things when it's so far back and up there. I need it close up,
Sit
you know.
closer.
I'm gonna sit up. I do sit up closer. I don't sit in the back. I sit up in the front.
Okay, old man Moody.
I know. I mean, my glasses are prescription, so
Get off my lawn, you stupid cloud.
I need to become like Scrooge McDuck, where I'm like, I got the little glasses that come down here and I can swim in my money. That's what I want. I want to be able to swim in money, you know, right? I mean, isn't that what isn't
Okay.
that what life is all about?
I guess so. I guess so. Well, let's wrap this up. So I'm going to say my last thing will be the future of the Conjuring universe. Of course, as we discussed before, we have the Nun 2 that comes out September 8th of this year, and it's Michael Chavez. He's doing it, and
Maybe the
James.
nun will fly back. Get
It's
launched.
I'm hoping. Story by James Wan, producer James Wan and Peter Safran. It's
Remember,
in
Michael
post.
Chavez was the director that we were like, you saw him talking to James Wan, and they were all chit-chatting and conversing and laughing and giggling about the next shots, and you could tell that James Wan had something to, you know, sort of helped direct
Oh yeah,
maybe a
but
little bit.
he's definitely seems like a mentor. So Nun 2 right now is in post production. Conjuring 4 release date still to be announced, director still to be announced. They got the screenwriters or a screenwriter listed. Producers James Wan and Peter Safran. And it's in development, so we got those two to look forward
Nice.
to. Yeah.
And
So
then
no
it's
no
not,
crooked man, unfortunately.
well, I mean, if you want to go see that short, the animated short, it's actually pretty good. I mean, it's pretty decent. It's just the lullaby or whatever the little poem, the crooked man with a crooked smile, blah 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 blah, and stuff
Right.
and whatnot. But it was, is animated pretty well and looked kind of creepy, so I liked it. Um, thought that was part of the thing. Maybe it was. Maybe it literally was one of the ones that got entered into the contest, just didn't win or didn't get on the top five. You know, I would love to see more of those. Like, what else didn't get accepted? What was not as good as those? And
Well,
stuff.
I do know. I believe there's I don't know if you ever saw it, but Red Letter Media did a whole episode on Annabelle creation and this contest and what a ripoff it was.
Oh, rip
So
off the
that
contest
the
was?
filmmakers, yeah, were getting ripped off. So
Why?
I would have to go back and look. It's like if you made the film, then like Warner Brothers owned everything. You didn't get any money from it. You don't
Wait,
get
owned everything from the short or owned everything you ever did?
well everything we ever did.
Yeah, like that would be scary. If
But
Warner Brothers make
no,
you
the
sign a
film.
contract that said, every
It's not
movie you ever
American
did,
Idol.
Warner Brothers owned,
No,
you
just the
know,
film, just the
just
film, and that
just
you
that
don't get
film.
money for like future screenings and stuff like that. So it's I know maybe when we're done here, I'll go check out the Red Letter Media thing because I'm it came out a while back, but
Yeah,
yeah, they talked about what a scam it was.
cool.
So
I mean, not cool that people got scammed, but cool that Red Letter Media talked about it.
yes, they like to point out scam artists like your buddy,
Like
Mr.
my buddy.
Wedding Singer,
What?
Mr. Wedding Singer.
Are you saying that? Are you saying
Who
Adam
starred
Sandler?
in the movie Wedding Singer?
But you're saying Adam Sandler's a scam artist? How is he a fucking scam
Yes, he's a
artist?
total scam artist. Go
How is he a
watch their
scam
videos on him.
artist?
It's all money laundering.
Why is that money? Why he makes
Go
movies and they make money?
go watch Red Letter Media's.
Oh, fuck
They have
that
two
shit. I'm
videos
not.
on
I'm
him,
not making letting
and
him
it's
diss my guy.
no, he's a total scam artist, an absolute scam artist. It's all
Whatever.
money laundering to make his friends money. That's all it is. It's a shit
I
movie, and he pays
love
all of his
the
friends a lot of
movies,
money. So
and his friends deserve money. Jonathan Loughran deserves money.
why do they
Alan Covert,
deserve money? Don't I
because they
deserve money?
rock. Because have you seen Grandma's Boy? All of them rock. They all
Yeah, it
rock.
sucked.
Oh,
It's
you
awful.
suck.
You
You
suck.
know what? You
People who like Adam Sandler suck.
No,
You have
Adam
no
Sandler
taste
rocks.
in. No, he doesn't. He really doesn't.
He does.
No, he doesn't.
You
So
need to just accept the fact that Adam Sandler rocks.
he doesn't rock.
He does. I love him. I'm
I'm
sorry.
done. I'm done with this. I'm done. I'm done with this. I'm done with this.
All right, hey, don't go away.
I'm done with this.
All right,
All
well,
right.
thank you, John, and thank you all for checking this out. This ended really weirdly, but it's okay. It's a horror film lovers mainstream Monday. We'll be back next week with a brand new episode, and it will be the Insidious, the last. No, wait, Insidious
No,
Chapter
Insidious
3.
3, I believe. Yeah, that's
Three,
right.
the last keys after.
Yeah,
But yeah,
just to give people some idea here, because I saved the timeline. So it will be yeah, Insidious 3 is 2006, and then Insidious The Last Key is 2006 through 2007. Insidious, the first film, is 2011, and Insidious 2 is 2011. So that kind of gives people a preview.
yeah, and I've got all of them.
So
Well,
yeah.
I've got two of them already, and then I've got one coming, and I've already got actually, well, I've got three already, and then one coming. So I'll have all the Insidious movies on Blu-ray, and I'm excited. I can't wait to dive in there, and then we'll do a ranking of that, and then we'll do all the rest of the stuff. So, but anyway, everybody, thank you guys for checking this out. Join us next week for some Insidious action going on, and no Adam Sandler. Okay, and with that, everybody, have a good one. Bye.
Bye.